So I know that looked like a lot of writing, don't worry, I'm summarising now, and then we've got the storyboard. So the summary of our idea for the video is basically we're following a group of teenagers or young adults on their journey towards a nightclub. And what we're going to do is, at the start, we're going to do it in black and white because of like the dullness of just general life and being in a city and stuff like that. And then basically, in the second half, we're going to be in a nightclub, and then we're going to overemphasize the lighting and the crowdedness of a general nightclub scene. And we're going to do a lot of the dancing in that half than the first half, which is more narrative-based. We also came up with the idea, Hannah and I, based off some research, with what we're going to do is have some face paint on some people within the nightclub, and maybe at the first half, which basically represents the music taking over the body. So what most people find with music is that it sort of puts people in the groups, that people who like a particular genre are all like kind of one. So what we're going to do in the nightclub, because everyone's enjoying themselves, we're going to put face paint on some of the main people, and it basically portray the music taking over them and then enjoying themselves.
And we have put the story like this because the music actually has two different phrases where it's different tempos and styles, but the overall genre of the music is kind of mad and wacky, so we've kind of made it really upbeat and different and like a lad's night out.
Okay, so basically these are like some of the main shots. So at the start we're going to have some just basic establishing shots where we're going to set the scene, so it's going to be where we're going to be filming. So it's going to be kind of a nice feel, especially seeing at the start the music's kind of like quite quiet, so it can be like a nice build-up. Then it's going to cut to what we were saying with the people travelling to the nightclub using the train. So we're going to have this is where we're going to use some of the nice camera angles and techniques, such as pans and zoom outs and stuff like that. And we're going to have the dancers within the train and with the people, which we'll refer to later. So then in the second half we've got the nightclub, so this is where all the colours start coming in. So this is sort of some face paint and the lighting, we're going to have some people dancing. So it's, yeah, it's that.
The shots we're using, like for example on a train, the actors are going to be in the forefront of the shot, and the dancers are going to be in the background for most of the shots. But when we get to the club, you'll be like on the stage or doing a dance off. We've used this as like an influence to Little Shop of Horrors. So if you want to.
You remember that total eclipse in the sun
You'll see
about a
how
week
the
ago?
dancers with their like background
I was walking in the wholesale flower
in
district that
every
day,
scene,
and I
but
passed by
they're
this
in the
place
back,
where
they're
this
not like
old
the main
Chinese man
focus.
Sorry, Hannah, do you want to repeat that? I don't think we could hear.
Yeah, so see how the dancers are in the background, but they're in every scene, but they're not the main focus. He is.
anything unusual there that
So,
day.
yeah.
So I was just about to, walk on by.
And so these are the ideas for the tribal face paint, and we're using much more complex ideas for the main dancers, whilst everyone else in the club's got more simple sort of two strokes across their faces and things like that, just to represent how mad the music is.
So this was probably my main influence, is Lost and Not Found by Chasing Status. So basically, because our video has no lyrics, there's not really much of a story, and being media students, we really want to portray at least some narrative. So after Lee showed us this, I was intrigued the fact that the story is so in-depth. It's quite a deep story if you've seen it, but it's not linked really to the lyrics or the music itself, and the way it's shot as well, it just draws you in really well. So I thought this was quite a good idea for us to be able to work off of this to make a narrative.
Mine, Chris's influence was Blind Faith by Chasing Status, the influence that we got was sort of the transitions that we can use between the sort of dull, quiet scene from the sort of like build up to the start of the music video where they go to the club, and then the sort of like lively and energetic sort of scenes from the big crowd, which uses sort of like lots of lighting.
Got a little YouTube in there after.
So yeah, this is sort of like what our build up would look like. It would sort of be quite dull and then just be lively like this.
And my influence was Hey Boy, Hey Girl by Chemical Brothers, and we're going to use the kind of techniques and the shots they use in the music video to create a sort of ravey dance club-esque theme. Right, so this is my floor plan. So I've planned out the train, and so we've got all the black dots are the camera positions, and I thought because it's in the train it would be very dull, stationary, maybe every now and again a point of view shot, so it's very straight, very boring, like day-to-day life. And then goes to the dance space, I think it's the Willows, and we've got multiple shots from around the area, and then the middle we have moving shots going in between all of the dancers and all the people that are on the floor, and then we've got panning and tracking shots around the rest of the space.
Yeah, we made an equipment list as well, which basically sort of like shows us what we need, so we can sort of like tick it off or whatnot. So yeah, so we've sort of written down what we'd need, like face paint and masks, as well as sort of like a camera to use to record that stuff.
Yeah, I also did a risk assessment to like assess the possible dangers towards us and the dancers, like saying like risk to us, like getting electric shocks on wires and dropping expensive equipment, and like injuries on the stage to the dancers. And I've also found out ways where we can prevent it. Yeah, and me and George also did a couple of surveys. Like George's was like about our track, and mine was about music videos in general. And we kind of, gathered the data and put them into graphs so we could see how to make a good music video based on the public's opinion.
So thank you for listening. Any questions at all?
Could I just clarify that you've got a kind of narrative start that's black and white, that's showing them going to the nightclub, and then you've got the colourful, bright nightclub scene at the end.
Yeah.
And in the first narrative section, the dancers are going to be at the back, just like the Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
But then when we get to the nightclub, they'll be part of this kind of...
They'll be like the main focus because they'll
Okay.
be on the stage or in the dance off or whatever.
All right, okay. Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Are we moving on the train? Like, are we done? Like,
Yeah, like in
Yeah.
each scene you'll be doing like your
Yeah.
routine.
You'll be doing a little bit, but not like too much. So you're sort of the main thing. So it's sort of like we want you to be dancing. So you're there, but you're not there. If you know what I mean.
The second half
It's like
is
you're
the
the
second
spirit
half.
of clubbing or
Yeah.
whatever.
But the second half is where you'll really show your stuff almost, and we'll be able to show you a lot with the dancing and the music.
Are you happy with that Little Shop of Horrors reference and the idea of being in the background? Carrying on from what you said, I don't see any reason why the movement can't be over the top. Or because if you look at Little Shop of Horrors, the way they're dressed, what they're wearing, the makeup that they've got, and they really, really stand out. So I don't think there's any need to feel like you've got to be limited because there's an actor in the foreground and you don't want to distract. I think you can do whatever you want.
Well,
I
when
think
you
the
think about it, like what I've noticed when I watch Little Shop of Horrors, I'm normally watching the dancers more than I'm watching him, because you spot once you spot them, You like notice them in every scene. So in a way, they're kind of also the main focus.
And they're not making very big like moves, so they're
Yeah.
sort of just they are there, and then you recognise that they're there, and you take more notice of them than you do the actual actor.
Well, this is the point of going out and filming and testing next week, so I'd be interested to see what you produce and what you come away with and what it looks like. Anything else? Any other questions from anybody, from media or... No?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Where did you get your original concept from?
Well, I was actually just like scrolling through YouTube, and it just popped into my head because it's quite clubby music with like the bass drop and everything, and I was like, oh, this might be a good idea.
Yeah, it's sort of like a couple of things as well during the pre-production, sort of tweaked it to the way it was.
Yeah, like
So,
focus group.
yeah, so I did a focus group with some people, and the main consensus was that it was almost like a concrete jungle, which then sort of went in the direction of like animals and stuff and tribal like schemes and themes and stuff like that, which then went to the idea of face paint, which we put in like a portrayal to, with it being for the music. So that sort of tied in quite well with Hannah's idea of it being a nightclub, and then we sort of decided, because of it being two separate sides, we should have the first one being quite dull and normal life, going towards the fun of a nightclub.
We also like the idea between narrative and conceptual sort of styles to our video.
Yeah.
So we just
Yeah,
Just
Alex,
doing the
I
beach
was going to ask you about, I saw on your budget you had masks, but you're also talking about face paint, so is it going to be face paint or is it masks, and
it
what?
should just be face paint.
We had an idea that we were going to have like people in like animal masks, like a giraffe or whatever, but we kind of like threw that
Yeah.
out, didn't we?
Okay, and I love the fact that you've got establishing shots. Every music video, if you watch one that's set in New York, for example, they'll have 10 seconds of establishing shots showing New York. But where are those establishing shots going to be? Oh,
They're going to be just the surroundings.
Train
so
station.
the train station going
Okay.
towards the nightclub. So it's just going to be to say if we're going to be filming it in Stratford, it will just be like the buildings at Stratford, the train
We could
station.
go into the car park and
Yeah.
just film
okay.
right at the top of Stratford.
And George, your risk assessment, the idea of going into the Willows and setting up a nightclub and having all those people in there, is your risk assessment thorough enough, and have you really thought about it and spoke to technicians and...
Yeah, I didn't do this assessment, Chris did, but yeah,
Oh.
we sort of like looked at the sort of like accidents that would happen in this place, and we have sort of like evaluated what we
We
could
still
do
need to
prevent
speak
them.
to, well, Graham now.
Yeah, so Chris, you haven't spoke to H or Chris or anyone? Okay, so
I've
that's...
thought about the basic risks, which will be obvious to
Okay.
assess the dancers.
Dancers, you happy? Yeah? Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, folks, the Willows is not going to be available to film this in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, okay.
We were thinking
Yeah.
about one of the dance rooms anyway.
Yeah, but to get a nightclub theme with lighting, you need a black box. Yeah, and then you're going to need the lighting on top of that. You're not really going to establish that in the Willows Theatre.
No, we were
type of
thinking about one of the,
lighting.
the dance rooms that's like upstairs and just blacking out everything, putting like stuff over the curtains.
But then when you put, where are you going to get the lights from?
We're going to get those from the techies.
Yeah, so I think this is an aspect of your idea that hasn't been planned yet, and, you know, logistically, are there other shows happening? It's something you need to get onto and research. And it might be worth leaving now and going to speak to somebody to see what it might be that the TV studio is free, I don't know, but that needs a lot of research and development. And it's your finale, so it's really important we get it right.
Actually, if we use a TV studio, we might also do that.
That's fine then.
Yeah, okay.
You might do better finding a nightclub because you can film in the day because they're not going to be.
They wouldn't open.
Yeah.
To generate
I know
the
we
idea
ha-
you want to generate,
we'd
you
have
need
to
to think about
pay
the
them.
lighting.
Money is scarce.
Just keep saying Willows is not going to be available. So
Yeah. So look at the different options. And could it be in a warehouse or a
It's
car park?
a dark room with flashing lights. That's basically what a club is.
Yeah. Just have a think about it. Just have a think.
Yeah, we'll take that note and go away with it.
Okay, thank you.